Oh, yeah, I don't want to draw. I just want to cut. Cut. All right, let's start from the beginning. Okay, so welcome into what I'm calling an emergency episode of Maria's Formula for Victory, because today NASCAR has officially announced the new playoff, well, championship format. So I wanted to break it all down. I took notes and then also give my thoughts on it. Pardon my voice. Did go to the Patriots game last night where they beat the Chargers. First playoff win in a while. But I know I don't have the best voice right now for this. But we have to move on. Anyways, all right. So let's begin with the announcement NASCAR was giving on NASCAR.com, YouTube, and I think the Tubi channel was Steve O'Donnell, and next to him was Dale Jr., Mark Martin, and behind them was Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Briscoe. So he started off, obviously, giving his thoughts to Greg Biffle, everyone else in the flight who lost their lives, and then also Denny Hamlin, his father, and his mother. And then did mention that Denny actually had a large part in deciding this format. Tim Clark headed up a group with drivers, OEMs, sponsors, all to get advice. Seems as though Mark Martin was a spearhead in this with his loud voice, championing a full season, or being a voice, I guess, for the fan who wants a full season points system. So he started off by saying that winning still has to matter and consistency has to matter. And they wanted to let the fans know that they are listening. They're willing to make changes. And with that, Steve O'Donnell announced that the chase is back. There will be 26 races with the regular season. The final 10 races will be the chase. 16 drivers will go into the chase. With this, there are no more playoff points. And they increased the points you get per race win from 40 to 55, putting more of an emphasis on the wins while taking out win if you're in. So that way, there is a bigger focus on what matters, both on and off the track. I will get more into that, but I just want to continue breaking down the actual logistics first. So, at the end of the regular season, the first 26 races, the points will be assigned as such. The first seed will get 2,100 points. Second will get 2,075, 65, 60, 55, and less 5 points from there. The 16th driver will have 2,000 points. At the end of the 10 races, the driver with the most points will win the final race. Again, no winning you're in. No mention of changing anything with stages. So Mark Martin's comments seems to be the impetus for what really got them to listen and get that balance. Steve O'Donnell made a great point saying he knows that there is a loud fan base that wants a full season championship. However, that is not the majority, even though you people do want to think that. I know you think it's a great opinion, and that is your opinion. However, there are people like me that do not want a full season championship. I like a little bit more excitement. I don't want it nailed up with races to go. I think you have to have some sort of chase playoff to add excitement, but keep the core of what NASCAR is. And that was emphasized multiple points of to get back to who we are and to get back to the roots. Also, Steve O'Donnell mentioned many times that he acknowledges that there's still work that needs to be done. So if you're not a huge fan of this or you wanted other things to change, don't lose hope and don't start freaking out that nothing's going to change or this is all they're doing. There will be more, but this is already a large change in the right direction. And I think we need to give them time to make those other changes. So again, no winning, you're in. I think this is huge. First race of the season, Daytona 500. What happens? Someone wins and goes, and William Byron's in the playoffs. What? It's the first race of the season, and we're talking about playoffs? Playoffs? And then, or even the second race, the focus was just on the playoffs, and it took away from what was happening on the track. Ryan Blaney made a great point when his time came to speak. He thinks it will clean up the racing, which I can totally get. You will not have, in the final race before the playoffs, someone making some sort of crazy move for a win and you're in. Or any old race, someone makes a dangerous move, a move that most people would not agree with just because they need to get into the playoffs for their money, the sponsors, all of that. A win and you're in no longer. And I do think it will clean up racing and it will clean up broadcasting because now our focus is winning that race, not the playoffs. Chase Elliott, when he spoke, I want to echo it from the top of Mount Everest to everyone in the whole world. Let's just stop being so quick to complain. This is out of Chase Elliott's mouth. NASCAR's most popular driver, so they say. So if your favorite driver is telling you, let's maybe take a second, not be so quick to complain, appreciate what we have, and know that there is going to be changes, that's a great place to be. The online majority has been a pretty negative space in NASCAR fandom, and that bums me out. It really does. And it's exhausting. So I am right there with Chase Elliott. Let's just not be so quick to complain. And just because you wanted a playoff or you wanted a full season championship, you've got to know that there needs to be a balance, a happy medium of getting back to who we are as a NASCAR core, but also making a lot of people happy. And I think this is that perfect medium. Steve O'Donnell also mentioned that this was about a 1.5 year process to make this format. They threw out a lot of different models. And at the end, they came down to full points versus chase. For a while, they did talk about that, 3-race final round playoff scenario, but they thought that was not the right move, and it came down to these two. Again, great balance, and it's simplified. They wanted that elevator pitch. They want to be able to explain the playoffs like that. No more playoff points to complicate things. No more rounds. It's just a 10-race chase for the championship. And again, still making winning matter and consistency matter. With that 25-point cushion going into the chase, those top points are going to matter. And winning is still going to matter, but winning over time and consistency over time. You don't just get that one win and run like crap the rest of the season, and then a guy who had a great season consistently up there but never got a win is pushed out. We're not going to have that. I think that's huge to meet that happy medium of people want to see someone who consistently races well throughout the year make it over someone who just got lucky at a super speedway. Dale Jr. also echoes the sentiment that he thinks it will be simpler. And I mean, I explained it very clearly at the beginning, and I think it's pretty simple. I personally am looking forward to it. I think it will be great. Like Ryan Blaney mentioned, all the drivers sitting back there, they grew up with a chase. I guess I'll say I predominantly remember the chase. I don't really remember a Winston Cup format, to be honest. Let's see. I am searching when the chase first was implemented because I don't actually know off the top of my head. And then another thing I'm going to do, so 2004, so I 13. So I think that's pretty much most of my functioning brain sports fandom. Okay, so what this means schedule-wise now. Your final race before the chase will be the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. Your first chase race will be Darlington, followed by Worldwide Technology Raceway, followed by Bristol Motor Speedway, and then Kansas, Vegas, the Roval, Phoenix, Talladega, Martinsville, with the final race being at Homestead. So you have a road course in there. You have a short track with Bristol and Martinsville. You have super speedways with Talladega. You've got your good old Darlington. You've really got quite the mix there. And I think, again, that will help consistency instead of someone having a great win and you're into the next round because they won Talladega or something. Now you got to be good at all these tracks. Or if you're not good at one, make sure you're still good at the other ones. I would be very curious to hear people's thoughts on this. I have seen mostly positive. I know there's going to be those negative people. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going through my comments right now. Definitely a step in the right direction. A lot of people taking out the win and you're in. What other comments? It's not bad. I wasn't happy with the win and you're in, so I'm glad that was taken out. Someone did think that 3-3-4 would be exciting. I get that, but no playoffs. Larger points payoff for a win still puts an emphasis on winning. And then again, I just opened it up. The first comment, the most recent one. They are still not listening. Championship should be an entire season. Anything else, it's not a real championship. No thanks. Again, they are listening. Just because your voice is the loudest that you want a full season championship does not mean everyone wants that. They're not listening to you, but they are because they're making changes. Just because they didn't pick what you wanted does not mean they're not listening. The reason they did this because they heard a bunch of you saying they want a full season. I don't want a full season. So what? I just can go F myself because your opinion's right? No, that's not how it works. I do find NASCAR fans to be dramatic. I stopped watching racing because of stages. Then you don't really like racing. You don't like the sport. That's what's going to make you stop racing. It doesn't change it that much. Now, would I be good with them getting rid of the cautions? Absolutely. It's just another way to create excitement. These are long races. People do not have the attention span like that anymore. You need a way to break it up. They have something to race for in the middle. Now, with it being a point situation, I do think that will be interesting to have stage points go to the points. Got it. They were a bunch of the drivers were saying it's not going to completely eliminate, oh, we had a good points day, so that's all that matters. You're still going to need to, if you don't get those wins and other people are racking up that many points, you're going to fall behind fast. So it is still emphasizing winning, but consistency. And stage points, if you're getting those week in and week out, are going to help with consistency. So overall, I'm very happy with it. I think the support of Mark Martin and Dale Jr., while maybe performative, is impactful. If they're behind it, then so should we be. I guess not necessarily, but at least give it an open mind. We used to have the chase for a long time. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fun. Just be open-minded and don't be so stuck in your ways because you think that's what's best. Clearly, they put a lot of thought into this, and it does show they're listening because they made changes. This is a shorter little emergency episode, but there's my thoughts. Go ahead and leave some comments on this YouTube or the podcast or back on my TikTok. We are so close to the Daytona 500 where we will resume my Wednesday series of things you should know for the race. If you're making a fantasy team, making some bets. And then my Saturday series where I tell you what the formula has predicted to be the winner of the race. I'm going to go watch Kyle Larson on his qualifying night for the Chili Bowl. And Saturday is the A-Main where we crown a champion. If either Christopher Bell or Kyle Larson win, they will pull ahead because they each have 3 wins currently. The next one who wins will have 4. There's some other NASCAR names in there. J.J. Yaley, Ty Gibbs, Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed. So all week, tune in to the Chili Bowl if you're missing racing. And honestly, if you're not missing racing, it's really good racing. So I highly recommend it. And I will talk to you all soon. Thank you so much.